Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Unmasking God's Grace. We talked about perfectionism, that was the first one. We saw how it is unattainable and it is also a sin because we are taking God's place. Because if we strive to be perfect, where would that leave God's Son who came to take our imperfections? Then we went and looked at the causes of perfectionism. That is fear of failure, fear of disappointing people, fear of criticism, shame. Like I gave an example of my high school where it was just rules and rules and rules, and if you fell short, you were not good enough, you did not belong. So then you try to attain perfectionism to prove that you can do it, that you're good, you belong into that group that you are told not, you don't belong to. And then we saw what impact this has on those who go through this. So for me, it was my behavior triggered my actions towards my children in terms of how I punish them, because that's the only way I knew. But now I want us to go to the other thing we need to do so that we can unmask God's grace, and that is letting go of control. I have my notes with me so I don't lose focus, but I want us to look at this because it relates to perfectionism. But I want us to, because I know we all have this, especially women. We want to be in charge. We want to be better and better, and then because that's the only way success is guaranteed. And then when we do well, we pat ourselves on the back and say, okay, next time let's do a little bit better. So we keep on going for better. And then what if it doesn't go the way of success? Then we feel guilty because we feel like, oh, we should have done one thing better than the other one. But we always feel like we need to control everything so that we can say, okay, at least I did everything I could, but it's exhausting. Like we saw with perfectionism, it is exhausting. And I just want to bring us back to what grace is, because we want to unmask God's grace, but what is grace actually? And I just read that grace is an enabling power and spiritual healing that is offered through the mercy and love of Jesus Christ. I mean, that in itself is really enough. It's an enabling power that is offered, through the mercy and love of God, of Jesus Christ. And grace is humbling because it means you have to let go of your control to be able to say, you know what, okay, I accept what you're offering me, letting go of your ego. And that's not easy for many of us to accept, because then it's kind of, you're saying, there's nothing I can do, I have lost, okay, you win, I take it. That means we have to fully and completely depend on a power that is higher than us or someone else, and that is outside our checkpoints, because then it means we have no control. It means we cannot look in the list and say, oh, okay, I did step 7. No, it's completely you not in control, but it's in the control of Christ who died for us, because he wants to make beautiful things out of us. Because when we fail, we feel like we need to apply self-blame, and we've fallen short, and then we feel guilty. But then control makes us feel like we are good and others do not measure up, because why do we have a checklist? Why do we have to be controlling on what people are doing? It's because we feel like they cannot do it well like us. So control kind of makes us feel superior and self-righteous, which is also not good, because I see that this desire for control really digs into our lives, in every single area, whether it's our work, our homes, our marriages. We have it. I just remember that I think it's some weeks ago, our youngest was still having issues with her skin and eczema, and it was terrible. And I always wanted to be in control of which cream is being put, how many times it's being put. But this night she woke up and my husband said, you know what, you go to her room because we have an extra bed there. You sleep, I'll take care of her. That means I will, co-sleep with her, or I will just stay with her during the night. And so I walked over to the guest room, and I was trying to sleep, but I could not because she kept crying, and I really wanted to go and see what was wrong. Like, why is she still crying? What is he doing, or what is he not doing? So I came back to see what is that was happening. I came back, and he's like, what are you doing? I just asked you to go and rest. Why are you coming back here? I have it under control. You don't need to come and check it. So then I realized, yeah, he can do it by himself. So why do I need to, go and check it? And that's what we do with Christ. He wants to give us, he wants to take control of our lives. But we keep on checking, like, at what stage of the step are you at? What else do I need to do more? But there's nothing more that we can do to attain or be enough or feel like we've achieved something. So when God is saying, I want to take control of your lives, why does control still, cling to us? Why do we still have the desire to have control in our lives? And we were looking at, in Matthew 11, God says, come unto me, all you labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am weak and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So if we have all the help that we need, why do we still want to have control? Why do we have this desire? And what is the way forward? How do we let go so that we can just be, and let the control aspect be handled by someone else who is more powerful than us? How do we let ourselves be so that we can unmask God's grace and really soak in it, because we need it? Is it because of lack of trust that he cannot do it? That is what we have in our human aspect. You don't trust that something will go well because maybe you're the one who has been doing it better, or you're the one who's been doing it for a longer time, and you don't think the other person has what it takes to do it, or they can do it but not to your standards. Is it because of our weak faith? Because when God is doing it, we don't actually see. We only see the results, or we see the results. Maybe they're not the results we want, but we don't see the process. Sometimes we miss the process actually, but we don't see him actually working because it's behind the scenes, and he only reveals to us when the time is right. Is it because of the disappointments in the past? That is actually true in our human life. Like the way we don't want to let go of control is because last time you did let go of control and things messed up because you let go. You said, okay, let someone else take care of it, and it did not go as you wanted. And I think this last one plays a big role in our human lives, because we believe that something can happen only well when we do it, because many times it went wrong. I just remembered I was having a conversation with a friend, and she said of how she has to make a list on what the husband needs to do with the kids when she's away, or what he needs to do at the house when she's away, because or else things will be done but not how she wants it. So why do we have these checklists of we have to go through and say, okay, that was done like that, that was done like that, okay, now everything will be okay? Why do we have this? And it could be lack of trust, but I don't know if we can have lack of trust to our God. And then I have this, I'm talking about everything about me. Sometimes when I've taken days off and I'm supposed to be off work for a few days, I'm still, sending text messages to my colleagues like, oh, did that email come in? Oh, please reply to like this because like this. And I had already handed over before I left, but I still come and tell them how they're supposed to do it. So whether I'd handed over, I still wanted to be in control to see what my colleagues were doing. And my colleagues are well capable of doing my work. But it's just the control of like, oh, these are African clients and I'm the only African, so they will understand me better. Or this is how you're supposed to do. I mean, maybe they will not ask them about, the only thing that is making me control is maybe they will not ask them about how the goats and the chickens are doing. Because I would ask that, but my colleagues would not. But that's not something to make me not spend time with my family and keep checking my phone to send text messages to my colleagues. But that's one that I can try to, let go. I know that my colleagues are capable of doing my job. Sometimes even better. And that's the same way with God. He says, take my yoke because it's easy and I'll give you rest. But we still want to know what He's doing behind the scenes. And then we are impatient in the journey. We want to know when it's going to happen. So we have checklists. We have checklists because we want to take control. Everybody who is a perfectionist has this checklist that they want to check because they want to make sure that everything they did was good and they did not miss anything. So whether about exercise or sleep patterns, steps to wholeness, 10 steps for this, 10 steps for success. And then you do the same 10 steps for success and you still remain in the same position. So this checklist sometimes really do not work. Today I just finished an audio book, Habits of Happiness, 10 daily steps for living your happiest life. The points were good, but I think it's not just that. It's not just all the things that, it's not an inclusive, like a limiting list. The list can be prolonged or extended, but I think people just focus on that list and think, okay, this is the list and this is how it's supposed to be done. Because that checklist gives us an idea that we are fulfilled. Like, because we did the checklist, okay, I did 10 steps for success, I'm going to be a successful person. No. There's actions and things beyond the list. So, because whenever you follow the list and you fail, you feel like, okay, the next project, I need to do it better. I need to do it so good so that I don't have to fail like I failed, so that everything is in control. We create perfect weekly agendas and schedules, and then if something is wrong, we give ourselves, we criticize ourselves for not having done well, and then the guilt and the blame begins instead of accepting ourselves that we're actually living life and living it to the full. So how about before we blame ourselves for everything that went wrong, we surrender to the one who can clothe us in His grace and in His perfection and take control of our lives, because we just saw the meaning of grace. It's a power, enabling power that is offered through the mercy and love of Jesus Christ. It's an enabling power. That means even though we can do everything through Christ who strengthens us, we can do nothing without Him. I mean, those two verses are in the same Bible, so we cannot go around saying, oh, we can do everything, through Christ who strengthens us. That's true in faith, but we cannot use it to take control of our lives, because He's the same one who says, you cannot come through the Father without me. We are nothing without Him, and it takes His power to gift us mercy through Jesus Christ. So how do we go about this? We need to only be still, get out of our own ways, You know, we don't need to be perfect moms, perfect husbands, or perfect wives. You know, our husbands or our wives already know how great we are, or how great of a mom we are, or how great of a dad we are. Even our children know that. So we don't need to really break our legs to do it, but we still do it. You know, I think I think the only reason I can justify this, maybe we are trying to hide some other imperfections. I don't know. So we're trying to overachieve on one side, but then we are exhausted, and then we hide all the others because we cannot be perfect, and attaining perfection is unattainable. Um, because we've seen that we're enough, and there's nothing that we can do to deserve God's mercy or His love. So He says, "Come just the way you are, you know, and receive His mercy that He freely gives. Take His yoke because it's lighter than ours." So there's something really about letting go. You know, we don't have to try too much to control everything. We need to let go and rely on God, who will bring good things to us. So, like you see, I have no control of the wind. This has nothing to do with me. Even though I had a list and I checked my video, I checked everything, but I have no control of the wind, and this is just God saying, I'm in charge of this. I can bring rain now. But anyway, I just wanted to bring us through this and remember we can do everything through Christ who strengthens us. We are nothing without Him. But He says, you know what, come, take my yoke because it's lighter than yours. So let's place all our worries and frustrations and limiting patterns in God, because He's capable. And let's practice daily to let go of every control that we want to have in our lives. So I pray that you let go and just be held in the arms of our Father and experience His unending mercy and grace. Have a great week ahead. Thank you. Bye. God bless.